Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Grindavik on the Impossible Dream, and today it is a transfer special as we move from Season 5 into Season 6. We are champions of Iceland once more. We have a Champions League campaign to prepare for, and if we look at the budgets up here, we have 1 million just over to spend on transfers, and we have about, 13 grand or so a week we can spend on wages as well, and we might be able to move some of that around, of course, some transfer budget into wages if needed. So busy window coming up. We're already at January 28th. The season usually starts around May. So let's get to this. Now, there are some transfer dealings that have already taken place sort of since the end of our league season through to today. So the major departure is Oscarsson, who was a really good player for us for a number of years. He's off to IBV. 50 grand is what we've sold him for, which is a mammoth fee. There might even be a record between Icelandic teams when we'll find out, I guess, when it actually takes place. But he was a very good player for us for a few seasons there, but we've been able to move on from him, and to get 50 grand for him as well, I couldn't be happier with that fee. That is absolutely brilliant. But let's have a look at who we know is coming in already. So this is a free transfer coming in. I think he was released, by Lens in France. Now, it says he's a midfielder. It's Junior Onana. Now, what we've actually signed him to be is a ball-playing centre-back. He's going to take over that role from Adel Steinsen. My plan here is to partner him with Axel Andreasen in the centre of our defence. Now, he's not maybe got the greatest defensive attributes, but he's got good physical attributes. He's going to be strong in the air. He's not the slowest. He's got some good mental attributes there as well. I think he's going to do quite well for us. Now, I forget what we're paying him. Let's not worry about that. Leave the money to me, guys. Don't worry about things like that. But you can see here, he has played in Ligue 1 quite a bit. So he's a very, very good player. And 7.8 million worth of transfer fees have been paid for him as well. We've got him on a free. And 10 Cameroonian caps as well. What a signing I'm hoping he will be. And the other free transfer signing is this guy, Jose Antonio. Now, this may be the end of Sayas, which will be sad because he is the last original player that's still with us. But I couldn't turn this guy down as a deep-lying playmaker. Passing 17, vision 16, first touch 17. Some really other good mental attributes there. He's got some good physical attributes as well. He's a very, very good midfield player. 20-year-old Spaniard. Did I say that already? Now, we signed him as he was a free transfer release, but from Elche. Now, he has not played. He's played one game in La Liga. So we'll take it. We'll say he's a former La Liga player. But yeah, I think he's going to be an absolute star, if I'm honest. I am absolutely stoked that we got him on a free. Now, we're paying him upwards of 4 grand a week, so he's going to be our top earner at the club. But let me know what you guys think. I think he's worth every penny. I think he's going to be brilliant. And the other player that we've signed now, not in at the end of his contract, so he'll be coming in on the 1st of July, is Redmond Dyche. Now, if you're wondering, it doesn't say he's any relation, so we'll wait and see on that one. Now, we know that we have weird squad registration rules, so we do have to kind of have players that can play a number of positions. He can play wide right. He can play as a number 10, but what I've signed him to be is a striker. He's got a good jumping reach for us, which is good. Good vision, good passing. He can be that sort of a complete forward almost. Really good long shot on him as well. He's only 20 years old, so another one of these guys that should arguably be very, very good for us, particularly in the league. Now, I'm not sure completely whose place he takes in our lineup. You can see we've got him from Doncaster. He's played League 2 football for a couple of years. He's done okay, but I think he's good enough to really take a step up with us and take us on to the next level. So those are the transfers that have been done. Let's move on and see what we can do going forward from here. All right, a little bit of news, and that is that our training facilities have been upgraded. Got my assistant manager here, and it was very important that I wear these glasses. So, training facilities have been upgraded. It says there's a $5.5 million loan taken out. That's actually for the stadium, not necessarily for the training facilities. But we have a look at what that means. And it means that we now have great training facilities. We'll try and work on the average facilities. Are you off then, miss? But yeah, we'll kind of see what happens with that as we go here. That is all very, very good news. And we've had a departure as well. And that is Half Paulson, the left back. He's left on basically a free. I just wanted to get rid of him. He's not a bad player. We've just got better options at left back. He's 25. He's not going to get much better. So, okay, bye. I essentially just let him go. All right, quick update, and that is that we have sold one of our young academy players, Dadi Gudmundsson. We didn't really ever see him in the first team. 25 grand we've got for him, off to Norway. And the problem with him is that, I mean, he's not terrible, but he's a striker that can't finish and has bad composure and off the ball. Like, he's just not what we want in a striker. So good luck to him. He has 25 grand. He's paid for the academy for a year, hasn't he? Alright, it is February 22nd, which in Iceland means transfer window is now open, and our two new signings have arrived. Our 20-year-old Spanish midfielder, 4.5 grand a week we're paying him, and I still have absolutely zero regrets about that. I think he's going to be so good for us. And the other man, of course, that has arrived is our new ball-playing centre-back, Junior Anana. He is on £2,100 a week. So again, absolutely fine with that as well. Ignore the ball-winning midfielder. He's going to set a ball-playing centre-back for us. That's what we brought him in to do. So those guys have arrived. We can sort of get things going properly now. Looks like we've got a bid here. We're trying to move some players on as well. But yeah, it'll things will start moving now. All right, we have a signing, and this could be a very good one. We have signed a centre-back on loan from Hellas Verona, a Dr. Congo international, and this is a guy I've been after for a long time. I thought he was out of our price range, but thankfully, 5 grand a week in wages, no loan fee. We've got him for 11 months. I remembered to change it, learned like Turco last season. Let's have a look. It says here he's a B- signing. He, I think, is so much better than that, and this is him here. Physically, he's an absolute monster. You could argue maybe technically and mentally he's not quite there, but I think physically he's going to get himself out of some situations that maybe wouldn't be ideal. He could, in theory, be a ball-playing centre-back, but I think we'll just be using him as just sort of a proper centre-back or a regular centre-back, and I think he'll do a very good job. Yeah, at that. If we have a look at his career to date, we can see here that I tried to sign him from Mazembe when he was there. $500,000 at the time was beyond us. So he's gone to Serie A. He has played in Serie A and not played too badly. For whatever reason, though, he is available for loan. That's how we've got him. And, well, let's hope that he becomes an absolute star for us. This is a very sad day for Grindavik as we mark the passing of the final original. Thank you for your service, and Godspeed, Thiago. So there we go, a sad day as our final original player, Thiago Sayas, has left. With the addition of our new Spanish deep-lying playmaker, we really don't need him. He's not club-trained, although possibly he should be, having been with us for so long. So 96 appearances, 5 goals, and that is it for Sayas. Now, we only got 10 grand for him. I would have obviously liked to have got more, but the issue is that was the most we could get, basically. So, bit of a shame on that front. But anyway, he's been a wonderful servant for us. But squad registration rules in Iceland mean that we need to, when we move on, we have to move on because we weren't going to be able to register him or cut someone from another position, which would have just left us short there. So, yeah, it's sad, but our last original has moved on. And also leaving the club is Adel Steinsen. Now, he's gone off to Norway. I'm a little bit apprehensive about making this. I did, you can see, briefly consider trying to retrain him as a deep-lying playmaker, which he has a lot of the attributes to do. Ultimately, what this comes down to, he just didn't have the jumping reach. He wasn't quite quick enough. I just feel like he wasn't good enough, basically, to play in Europe, and we've got 3 really good centre-backs now. And we just I don't think he was going to play that much. So he's a good player that's not quite good enough for what we want. So he played 67 times for us, was around for a while, but he moves on as well. And you can see here we have let a couple of other youngsters move on as well. They're mostly just for free transfers. But we brought in almost 100 grand in transfer fees, which is not bad. You know, that's a decent return for us. And as yet, we haven't spent anything this particular season. So that we did spend a little bit last year for players that technically for this year. But anyway, now we have been playing that League Cup thing as well. So let's catch up on how that's been going. Our first game in the group stage was against KA. We took an early lead when Matheson picked out Gadini's run. Cisse crossed for Gadini to make it 2-0. And Adel Steinsen sent in Gadini for a first half hat-trick. Before Gadini got a 4th before half-time. So a very, very nice start for us, this one. Second half was a bit of a non-event, but they still only didn't, well, they didn't get a shot on goal at all. We did give some youngsters some game time after the break once it was won. So, yeah, a couple of professional debuts in there. I'll update you if anybody there is of note. But, yeah, you can see we played very, very well. So a very nice way to start what is technically the new season. Next up in the group stage, it was Stажnen. Matheson found Olmarkson to open the scoring. Antonsen made it 2-0 at half-time, before Jan Yu picked out Stefansson for our third. But Stажnen pulled one back. So a comfortable win. It was a bit of a rotated side, as you can see, but yeah, we were far too good for them. And yes, so we rolled on. 6 points from 6, a wonderful start. Next up, it was FH. A goal-mouth scramble was finished by Gadini for the only goal. So, well, not quite the goals we've seen in other games. Now, this was the first game with our new signings. So, Junior Onana and Antonio even were playing. So maybe they were just fitting in, so it didn't quite click as well as it should have. But yeah, we did actually play quite well. It just didn't quite work out. Now you should see over here a new name, Hansi Mortensen. I meant to mention this earlier on. That is our young defender. Morty Mortensen, unfortunately, isn't going to make it with us. So he was able to, Dave was able to basically pick another regen, and that was the best one that was unclaimed. So there we go. That is that. Now, next up, it was Vestry in the league. In the League Cup. We had an early lead when Viva played in Gadini. And Gadini turned provider for Capiello to make it 2-0 after 5 minutes. Matheson got our third. And Gadini our fourth. Before Junior Onana found Gadini to complete a first half hat-trick. So we were far, far too good for them. Gadini, yet another hat-trick, scoring them all in the first half as well. And just generally speaking, a brilliant performance. This was Cambuala's debut for us as well. Played solidly, which is good to see. And, well, you can see there was barely a bad player on the pitch. So excellent, excellent work. All right, next up, it is IA. Olmarkson picked out Stefansson's run for the only goal. So good to see Stefansson getting some goals again. It was a typical sort of finish that we expect from him. This was a game that where we essentially had already qualified from the group. This made it mathematically certain. So we are going into the semi-final for only the second time. And you can see that it, again, was a rotated side that did enough to beat, I think they're a second-tier side. They might have been promoted for this coming season. But either way, they had 2 shots, none of which were on target. So a very comfortable 1-0 as far as that goes. The final group game... No, sorry, that was the final group game. Next up, it was the semi-final, so that was against Selfos. Let's see if we've got an early trophy to win. Gadini knocked the ball into Rocky's path to give us a half-time lead. Jan Yu, Capiello and Rocky combined to make it 2-0. Before Cisse teed up Rocky to complete his hat-trick. So yes, indeed, we are going to have a cup final today, which is very, very exciting. Rocky was brilliant in this one. And I mean, I don't know if it's coming across in the highlights, but we're playing so well. But we're able to score different goals. We're able to get down the sides of teams. We're able to just go over the top if they're pressing us. And we're able to just sort of score the normal goals that we can score sometimes. You know, banging, we can score basically any sort of goal, I suppose. So really, really high hopes that this team can take us on to the next level. So we've got a cup final. Let's go play it. It is against IBV of the First Division, so the Diet Pepsi League, so hopefully that should be okay, but they didn't get to the final by mistake, did they? They're obviously doing okay themselves. We're expecting a 4-4-2 out of them, and this is a team we're sending out a first chance to have a look at a few of the new signings as well. This is what I think is our best team moving, sort of starting now, I guess, sort of moving into the new season. So it's Andreasen in goal. It's GNU, Andreasen, Onana, and Matheson as the back four. Antonio, Turpinson, and Capiello in midfield. Viva and Rocky. Now, Viva is happy again as well. So he's got over his little wanting to leave again, which is good. There must be some form of loyalty there for him. Gadini is the man up top, as you would expect, the way he's been scoring goals. Cambuala is on the bench. I mean, we've got 3 centre-backs that are all very similar. The reason that I've not gone with him is I want a ball player in Onana and a left-footed player in Andreasen. So that's why I think they're our first two. We are paying him $5,000 a week, so we should probably use him at some point. Did just want to quickly point out here, Good Munson as well. He is starting to train on very, very nicely indeed. And yeah, you can see the rest of the bench there. It's strong. So let's hope we can win a trophy. Okay, so we can see the team sheets there. Now we just left Morty Mortensen on the bench. He will be leaving. The backup goalkeeper role is a little bit of a problem for us just now. All right, let's go out there, win a trophy for the fans. Now this is the only domestic trophy we're yet to win. So it would be very, very nice to win it here as we get ready to go. Yeah, so it would be nice to complete the domestic set, but we'll obviously see how we go. Now, a couple of things. Sayas was obviously club captain. My plan is for Axel Andreasen to take over that role. He's currently the vice captain, and we'll have a look once we're sort of done our transfer business, who is going to be the vice captain. There's a couple of options we have right now, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, in terms of player departures that are potentially coming, I'm thinking Denis Sanchez doesn't quite fit in. We've seen before he's a bit of a liability defensively. Meng Jianyu, I think, is the man I want to put our faith in going forward as the number one, with the backup being Collar, who is the academy player. So we need basically an academy player in every position. So that's where I think I want to put my faith there. And I don't think Sanchez is quite as a good ball there for Rocky. Rocky, oh, how has he done that? It's a fourth of the season in the opening minute, and Mateus Rocky has got himself a goal. Capiello with the ball forward. There didn't seem to be anything on here. It looked like it was relatively well under control, and he's gone through the goalkeeper's hands. It's a wonderful finish. Questionable goalkeeping. Maybe more questionable goalkeeping than a wonderful finish. But yeah, I think the problem with Denis Sanchez is that he's not really good enough as an attacking player either. Now, when I signed him, I was not quite expecting to do what we did in Europe this year, and I feel like we need to take another step forward, perhaps than I'd originally thought we were going to this summer. And I think what I really want in the squad is it's off the crossbar. Antonio almost introducing himself in the grandest of styles. But yeah, I think what I want a left-footed winger to go down the outside there. Cisse, Rocky, and Viva are all right-footed. Now, obviously, it's worked out fine having the inverted winger over there, and Turpinson gets his first of the season. That is 2-0. Now, is he offside is perhaps a question. He may have been behind the ball. Obviously, from a corner, everybody's going to be onside. And, well, it's very marginal, to be honest, but it's been given. And that's absolutely fine. So yeah, so we'll see what happens on that front. But I just think a left-footed winger would be a nice. It could potentially balance things out when we want to be getting down the outside. And the benefit we have now with Gadini up front is that he is quite a physical presence up there as well. He's got good jumping reach and strength and all that kind of stuff. As Turpinson lunges in a little bit but gets away with it. So yeah, I just think having a left foot. Oh, that's a nice finish and. Oh, it's been given offside. I'm going to say slightly harsh given the Turpinson goal that stood. Yeah, I think that's probably a very similar offside call to the Turpinson one. But big team bias, we've got away with that one. A bit more work to do here defensively. Andreasen, well, he did do well until that moment. And Antonio is there. And we've just got to be a little bit careful here. They are obviously coming at us and putting us under a little bit of pressure. But it looks like we are going to get the half-time. And that is obviously all good. We will say, don't get complacent. We just need to be sensible, really, in the second half, don't we? We're not getting a great performance out of Viva. We're only playing a 6-6. Had a little bit of a hit-and-miss start to the season. You may have noticed some of the match ratings that he's been getting. He's just a little bit in danger of having Cisse overtake him on that role, but well, we've rejected quite a few bids for him, and I do very, very highly rate him. Again, just to have a look at him, good dribbling, really good pace. I think and off the ball movement's quite good as well. So I do want to keep faith in him, but not having the greatest start to the season right now. Here we go, under a little bit of pressure. Let's see what Matheson can do. Antonio gets back. We've crowded him out. Turpinson to Capiello to Gadini. And can we get them on the break now? A third goal would surely wrap this up. Jan Yu getting forward. Rocky makes a run forward. We've got Gadini through the middle. Gadini, and that should do it. And what about Mang Jan Yu? That's a really, really good assist. He just waited for it to open up for him. Gadini made the run, moved into space. And at 3-0 in the 75th minute, that should be that. Did really well, didn't he? Rocky maybe should have gone the other way, but he's an inverted winger. But I think Rocky cutting in just drew this centre-back out a little bit too, didn't he? Which then opened the space for Gadini. And at 3-0, like I say, that should be that. It's a bit too late to make subs for player development. So we will wait and just let this 11 get the job done. So it is going to be a first trophy. We've got a first look at some of the players as well. And as I say, we look quite solid, I've got to say. Really, really happy with Onana. Really, really happy with Antonio. The only other thing I think I'd like to do between now and the start of the season, as I say, is that left winger. And maybe potentially a centre-back. The reason I say that is Antonsen, his contract was to be a star player, which at the time was fine. We've promised him first-team football. At the moment, he's fourth choice at best, to be honest. So maybe we look to sell him and bring in another centre-back as well, but we'll wait and see on that one. But there we go. Congratulations. A decent performance. Viva, you were not good. So we'll say that. And he's motivated to go for the future. And on we go. So we win the League Cup. I'll have to try and find if anyone knows where I can find an image of that trophy, let me know for the trophy room. But there we go. Capiello's got a bit of a knock, but he's fine. Bit of a grand and a bit. We'll spend more than that on the celebration, I would have thought. There's all the people who get winners' medals, so congratulations if you're a Patreon member and you see your name there. You've done brilliantly. And there we go. We celebrate success. And so, as I say, the first time that we've won it since I've been in charge. I think they had won it previously before I came in. It was the one trophy that the club had won. 133 passes with an 88% pass completion rate. That is insane from Junior Onana. And I dare say, the Golden Bullseye end of the year, if that's what he's going to do, he's going to win that at an absolute canter. But anyway, very, very nicely done. We've got a few extra scouts in as well, it looks like. I'm going to keep looking for players here, and I will see you if we find any. Okay, we have one in, one out at centre-back. The man leaving is Antonsen. He's 24 years old. We've got 60 grand for him. He's off Kalmar, I think, a Swedish. We've just moved a little bit past him, I think. When we signed him, he was a star for us, and he was also not really developed since we turned professional. So he goes off to pursue his career elsewhere. Now, coming in to replace him is the first of our players as we look to build up the rest of the league. Now, I said I'd only sign players from other clubs if they would make us better, and this guy will do just that. He's a centre-back now. We've paid over the odds for him, 100 grand. He was worth about 10, so we've paid more, way more than he was worth. Plus, there's a 50% of our sell-on fee going back to Leichner. Now, you can see if we go down here, we're paying him just over £1,000 a week as a squad player, so that's all well and good. Let's go and have a look at our new man, though, and this is him here. He is a very, very good centre-back that is potentially going to get even better. Physically, he can jump, but he can also do everything else. Mentally, as a 19-year-old, there's still a little bit of room to develop, obviously, and same with technically as a centre-back. He's not the worst passer either. I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to train on as a professional player, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. And of course, he's a professional as well, so he's not going to stuff around. You wouldn't hope anyway. His career so far, you can see he's been around a little bit, but like us, he's played 2 years in our division already, the Pepsi League, averaged over 7.4 in both of them. I don't really see a downside to this. We're growing the league, we get a good player, and like that, they get money now, and potentially, I mean, if this guy develops, we could sell him on for what, $1 million or $2 million if our reputation grows enough. I think overall, this is going to prove to be a good signing all round. All right, we have another new signing, a free transfer from a former Newcastle player that has played in the Premier League, Omari Hutchinson. The fans only say he's a C signing, which I don't agree with at all, otherwise I wouldn't have signed him. A 24-year-old attacking midfielder. Let's have a look here, £2,500 a week as a squad player. Let's have a look at what we've signed, and we've got ourselves our left-footed wide player. Now, he's not necessarily an out-and-out winger, but he's good enough for dribbling. He's got some good physicals to do that as well. Crossing, we can hopefully work on. He's got good flair. A lot there to like, to be honest. He's a little bit like a Viva, but over on the left-hand side. The other things I like about him, he can play obviously a number of positions. If we want to go with a more advanced number 10, he could certainly do that on a support role. Or he could, if he wanted to play with inverted wingers or inside forwards perhaps even, then he can go over on the right-hand side as a left-footed player and do that as well. The other thing I like here is he already has the player trait of runs with the ball down the left, which as a left winger is more or less exactly what we want him to do. So he's got a few player traits here that have already been trained into him. So yeah, I think he's going to do quite well. Now this does unfortunately mean the end for Denny Sanchez, but it's for sure now because he's not going to be registered. Almost £6 million have been paid for him. He's not played a game yet though, so he's played one game, sorry, in the Premier League for Newcastle. So hopefully he's going to show up here and be a Pepsi League star. But let me know what you think of him. I think he could do quite well. So this is annoying. Last friendly he will play before the season starts, and Matheson is out for a month. So yeah, that's a blow because he's a very, very useful player for us. Now we have also played the Charity Shield thing. We've already won one trophy this season, of course, which is brilliant, not bad for a pre-season episode. So let's see if we can win a second. We took a first half lead when Matheson and Gadini combined, before Cappiello played in Stephenson to seal the trophy. So this was a really, really solid performance from us. Now you'll notice I tried something different. I know there had been comments before saying that this is maybe the way we need to look to start playing going forward. And the fact that we have three really, really good centre-backs also kind of plays into that. And we know we have Redmond, Dyche, of course, let's not forget, coming in for later this season as well, which would kind of play into playing two up front as well. Hutchinson's got his first game for us, did okay considering. And yeah, the midfield will just take a little bit of jigging around, and of course it means that our wide players don't get game time. But I saw enough here to think that it is maybe something we can do going forward. We'll have to obviously just, wait and see. Different games may call for different situations. And the thing, if we were to do this in Europe as well, we could maybe stick a more defensive midfielder in, go with, say, Cappiello and Turpitson or someone like that, and perhaps that would work out for us as well. But anyway, another trophy, always a good thing, so on we go. Alright, we are at the game day, first game day of the new season, which brings us to the end, but a little bit to catch you up on before we get that far. And first of all is we have a junior affiliate team. That is this team, KFA. A little bit of a background on them. We are going to be paying them some money for this as well. But they are a third tier side. Where are they here? Third tier side. Now you can see here they have good training facilities as well. So that was a youth end training facility. So that's in terms of options for teams that are down the tiers on us, that was the best option we could have. So yeah, excited for this. What I would ideally like is for them to be able to come up and be a second tier team. We're going to try and loan as many of our youngsters as we can. Now we've had a few actually refuse to go there, which is frustrating. But if I can get them to be a second tier side, that would be perfect. If we can just sort of keep them there, we don't get them promoted so that they, we lose that affiliation with them. But if we can have them as a second tier side to send down some of the youngsters to get that full season of experience when they're not quite ready for us, but probably will be down the line, that, as I say, that would be absolutely perfect. So that has happened, but let's go and have a look at what we have to work with here. Now, one player we won't have to work with, thankfully, is Manny Monte. He is going, I think, back to Cheltenham. I think we signed him from Cheltenham. We're only going to have to pay 50 grand of his 50 pounds of his £600 wage. So that's absolutely fine. He just isn't good enough for us anymore. So that's good. But let's have a look at who we do have. And let's start with goalkeepers, which is a little bit of a problem for us. Not the first choice, that is Andreas, and now he has got some interest in him, which is, again, problematic. It should be okay, but if that comes to something, then we're going to have a bit of an issue. Then we've got our backup from last year. We've got some kids that aren't really ready yet, so hopefully Andreasen gets us a full season. We have a look here at our left backs. The two that we've backed here are Meng Jianyu, who hopefully will just continue to develop a little bit. Technically, he's just not quite exactly where we'd like him to be, but let's hope he continues. And our young academy player, Collar, we do have some other options who can play over there, as you can see. Denny Sanchez, in all likelihood, will be, if not leaving before the end of the season. His contract's up. He'll be leaving at that point. Over to right back, Matheson, who has picked himself up an injury, which is frustrating, but he will be the first choice right back. He'll be backed up by Niall Huggins. I did have a quick look at seeing if we can upgrade here as a backup. Not the problem. The good thing with Huggins is that he can pretty much cover any position on the field, certainly in wide areas anyway. Preferred he can play with either foot, so he can cover left back, right back, left wing, right wing. We've seen him do it for us. So I don't want to get rid of him too quickly. And then Magnussen can play there, but that's not what he's in the team to do. He's not in the team at all, really, is he? Centre back. Now, this is where we do have some strength. We've got the Axel Andreasen, this year's club captain as well. He takes over from Sayas in that role. We've got, of course, Junior Onana, who, for the most part, the plan is to play next to him as a ball-playing centre back. We've got Willie Kambwala, who was on $5,000 a week and third choice, which doesn't make much sense, does it, to spend that much money? But anyway, he's here as well. We've got our new man, Bergson. So he's there as fourth choice, and hopefully he will develop nicely for us. And then I believe Magnussen is going to become a club player, which means that we won't have to register him, at which point he can play in the league games as well. So that will be good. And the other young player we have is Hansi Mortensen. We'll wait and see what happens with him. I don't think he's going to be an automatic registration this season, so he'll probably just play cup games. And my thoughts, the cup games are, what we'll do is I'm only going to play our players in the cup. Bit of interest in it, and it sort of forces me to give the match experience. We did the same sort of thing at Bala Town, I think, as well. Deep line playmaker. Now, this role may move a little bit further up the pitch this season. We'll have to see how things go. But Jose Antonio, I think he is the star signing of the window, to be honest. Really, really happy with him. The window's not closed yet, by the way, either. We do have a youngster here, Gudmundsson, who came through our academy. He's training on well this year. He'll be an option for us. Paul Dartson, now his contract is up the end of this season. I'm not sure what to do with him. He looks like a decent player. I just don't know what position he plays, and that is a small problem. I'd say he could be a centre-back, but he can't jump or head a ball, so that becomes a problem again. So, yeah, not sure what he is. And the one other young option here, we've got Djokovic. Now, I tried to loan him out to our new affiliate team. He rejected that. I would really, really like for him to go and play a season of football somewhere this year. I don't know where that's going to be, though. And the other option is another one of our young players. Again, don't know if he's going to be an auto-registered player, but if we can even just try and get him into some cup games, that'll be absolutely fine. If we move a little bit further forward to that, basically the support role to Capiello, the main man here is going to be Turpinson again, I think. He's just been absolutely brilliant since we got him into the first team. Halkson, now Halkson will become a club-trained player just after the season starts, which will make him a lot more available to play in league games. The other options, of course, are Allmark, who I prefer to play in the Capiello role, but is more than capable of playing in the support role. Odin Bagley, another one that rejected a loan to our affiliate team. Again, I'd really like to get him out playing a full season somewhere this season. And then I don't think there's anybody there we haven't seen yet. So that is that. As the more attacking midfielder, obviously, it's the Capiello role on this team, isn't it? So he'll continue to be the main man there. Allmarkson can play there. And, of course, Omari Hutchinson, who is new for this season as well. He could, in theory, play back here as well. And I don't think, again, there's anybody else there we haven't seen yet. Over on the left-hand side, now this can be an inverted winger or a regular winger. The main guys here, we've seen Rocky do a really good job for us this season. Now, we've got an issue with when Daesh comes in, we're going to have to unregister somebody, I think. I'm not 100% sure the way that it's going to work out with players that are registered now but become club trained, and so then we can sort of play around with that because we only have to have 8 of those and the rest are sort of auto-registered. So Rocky is someone that's on the chopping block. Now, the reason for that, we've got Hutchinson, obviously, that can play over there. That's the whole reason that we signed him. We've got Cisse, who can play on either side as well, because he can cut in and finish chance as well. Now, the thing that he has ahead of Rocky is he's a little bit better dribbler and a much better crosser, so he can play as a winger on both sides. Also has better teamwork vision and work rate, which Rocky just doesn't have at all. So yeah, that's a slight issue. And then we've got our young, well, he's not that young anymore, but Good Nason, who is sort of the club option to play over there. Over on the right-hand side, it's more or less the same. Kike Viva is obviously an option on both sides as well, but again, he's better on the right because he can cross, but he can't finish. And anybody else there? Oh, Young Poor, this guy, who will, of course, be remembered as the man who launched unnecessarily into a tackle in a Champions League qualifier and almost cost us a Champions League season. So those are the right-side options. The strikers, Gadini. Now, the spanner in the works with Gadini, he is attracting some interest out of Italy. Now, I don't know if Modena and Spezia are Serie A or Serie B teams. Either way, he's probably going to want to be interested in going and talking to them. I don't want to let him go, but if it works out a little bit better, Redmond Dyche, of course, is coming in July when he's July 1st. So it's not the worst thing if Gadini leaves, Dyche comes in, and then that solves any sort of squad registration issues. The other options we have, Stephenson. Now, he could be a man that drops out if for Dyche to come in. Again, a little bit like Rocky, doesn't have the teamwork vision or work rate. Work rate I'm not so concerned about as a striker, even the vision, but the teamwork I'd ideally like him to have a little bit more of. But yeah, we'll have a decision to make there. And the other player to play up front is this guy. Now, he did come through our youth intake last season. We didn't actually sign him in time, so he was sort of released and then signed for us afterwards. So he is technically a youth player for us. So we'll see what happens with him. Maybe a little bit too soon this season for him, but there's a little bit to like about him. So hopefully that will all come good. Now, like I say, there is still about a week to go in the transfer window. The finances are looking absolutely fine. We are overspending a little bit, but certainly not by too much, and we have room in the wage budget. The reason that wage budget has gone down is putting money into the the reason the transfer budget has gone down is putting money into the wage budget. But there we go, 100 grand spent, 160 grand bought back in the other way. So yeah, let me know what you think of the window so far, and I will see you next time for the start of the season proper. If we have a look here, you can see it's a never-ending preseason. Warm cup, warm up cup, warm cup. That's the sort of way my brain works. As you can see, we've played a lot of friendlies, and for the most part, we've got a lot of green there, which is brilliant. So we start against Selfoss and Halka, who I believe are newly promoted. So that's how we'll start things off next episode. Until then, I've been Aussie Bill, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.